This is the luxury world. Get inspired with us today and tomorrow in the realm of luxury horology, particularly within the territory long dominated by Rolex. A paradox has emerged, one where aspiration is consistently entangled with frustration. Once viewed as a testament to prestige and desirability, waiting lists have evolved into a formidable barrier that undermines the very experience they were meant to enhance. For countless prospective collectors, the pursuit of a Rolex timepiece has shifted from a celebration to a prolonged saga of uncertainty. This is not a trivial inconvenience. Rather, it has become a defining rite of passage, one that is increasingly met with resentment. Each additional month of delay feeds a growing narrative of disillusionment among collectors and connoisseurs. The brand's rising exclusivity, once its hallmark, is now causing some to reconsider their allegiance altogether. As the wait elongates and prices continue to escalate, many find themselves exploring alternatives. With every passing moment measured not by a Rolex but by another mark on the wrist, a subtle yet significant shift in sentiment is occurring. Welcome to Luxury World, where today's focus is not on Rolex's mastery of precision engineering, but on the mounting strain between its vaunted exclusivity and the expectations of a global audience. This exploration is not merely about timepieces. It is about how time, specifically the time spent waiting, can diminish enthusiasm and potentially disrupt loyalty in the upper echelons of horological excellence. If you have not subscribed to our channel yet, make sure to do so to stay informed on future updates. For decades, Rolex has worn the crown in the luxury watch world, embodying the apex of craftsmanship, status, and prestige. However, in recent years, the brand's strategic limitation of supply has begun to resemble less an aspirational challenge and more a grueling endurance test. The Scarcity model, once admired for its ability to create mystique, now appears engineered to provoke rather than entice. Hopeful clienteles are routinely met with the now infamous Rolex waitlist, a process with little transparency and fewer guarantees. For some, this wait stretches for years, during which no updates are provided and no assurances are offered. What initially felt like an exciting journey into the world of horology quickly became an exercise in uncertainty. It is no longer a minor annoyance. It is a persistent grievance that reverberates across the entire luxury watch ecosystem. Indeed, exclusivity retains its allure. But when that exclusivity becomes synonymous with inaccessibility, it risks alienating the very audience it once captivated. More collectors now find themselves evaluating brands that offer immediate satisfaction without compromising on quality or prestige. The once charming chase for a Rolex has lost some of its luster, as enthusiasts reconsider whether luxury should feel more like a privilege or a punishment. The environment within authorized Rolex dealerships often mirrors the drama of high-stakes negotiation more than it does luxury retail. Prospective buyers enter with earnest interest, only to discover that access to sought-after models hinges not solely on availability, but on prior spending history. This opaque hierarchy favors established clients who have previously purchased across a broader product line, placing first-time buyers or casual enthusiasts at a stark disadvantage. The result is a perceived gamification of access, where inventory is allocated based not on merit or enthusiasm, but on one's historical rapport with a dealer. Shopping for a timepiece in this context ceases to be a straightforward transaction and becomes a social calibration exercise. It is reminiscent of an elite inner circle, where exclusivity is no longer a function of brand equity alone, but also of relationship capital. This system has provoked frustration among many. As the rules remain unspoken and inconsistently applied, confusion grows. What should be an aspirational experience instead devolves into a ritual of uncertainty, where hope often meets silence. As more enthusiasts feel excluded by these invisible criteria, the appeal of Rolex begins to diminish. A luxury club with undefined entry requirements begins to lose its charm, especially when comparable alternatives offer similar quality without the associated ambiguity. Entry into the Rolex universe is now often defined not by ownership, but by one's endurance on a waitlist. This unofficial community of hopeful buyers invests emotionally in a process that offers little feedback or visibility. Months, and even years, may pass without any indication of progress. Such an experience transforms the notion of exclusivity into something far less glamorous: inertia. What once represented a pinnacle of aspiration begins to lose its sparkle. By the time a long-awaited call finally arrives to announce the arrival of a reserved model, the emotional investment may have already depreciated. In many instances, the prolonged delay erodes excitement, transforming desire into ambivalence. Enthusiasts who once dreamed fervently of a specific Rolex may have already shifted their focus toward brands that do not impose such endurance tests. Contributing further to this complex environment is the gray market parallel ecosystem that has expanded rapidly as Rolex availability through official channels dwindles. Faced with empty displays and uncertain timelines, many buyers turn to unauthorized dealers in hopes of acquiring the desired reference. However, this detour often leads to severe financial penalties. Retail prices for popular Rolex models have surged dramatically, with many timepieces now fetching 50–100% above their official MSRP on the gray market. Models that once hovered around the $10,000 threshold are now frequently seen commanding figures closer to or exceeding $20,000. This steep inflation renders even the most iconic pieces prohibitively expensive, undermining their original positioning as attainable symbols of success. Further exacerbating the issue is the absence of manufacturer warranties on gray market purchases. Buyers not only pay a premium, but also assume the risk of owning a watch without official support or authentication. In a market where provenance and servicing are paramount, this lack of security significantly impacts the perceived value of the purchase. At its core, the Rolex brand has long symbolized more than precision. It has represented achievement, legacy, and personal triumph. However, for many, the extended waitlist experience has begun to degrade that emotional bond. The anticipation that once infused the Rolex acquisition process with excitement is now giving way to disillusionment. Collectors are increasingly re-examining their affiliations. Brands such as Omega, Vacheron Constantin, and Audemars Piguet are rising in consideration, not merely as alternatives, but as preferred choices for those seeking a seamless luxury experience. These companies are capitalizing on Rolex's prolonged inaccessibility by positioning themselves as both respectful of the customer's time and unwavering in their commitment to quality. This shift in loyalty is not confined to veteran collectors. A generational realignment is now unfolding, driven by the expectations of millennials and Generation Z, raised in a digital age characterized by immediacy, transparency, and accessibility. These consumers are less inclined to tolerate ambiguous processes or elevated barriers to entry. To younger buyers, Rolex's gatekeeping, manifested through closed allocation systems and rising prices, feels outdated. Luxury, in this new paradigm, is defined not solely by exclusivity but by a holistic experience that is inclusive, responsive, and transparent. This demographic views luxury not as a fortress, but as an invitation, and brands that fail to adapt may find themselves sidelined in favor of more agile competitors. The Rolex brand now stands at a critical juncture. The very attributes that propelled it to the pinnacle of the horological world, exclusivity, heritage, and prestige, are beginning to act as constraints in a rapidly evolving luxury landscape. The challenge lies in maintaining the mystique while modernizing the experience. A recalibration of the waitlist process could serve as a pivotal step. Increased transparency, reduced delays, and more equitable allocation methods would not dilute the brand's allure but rather reinforce its commitment to the collector community. Particularly for first-time buyers, offering a clearer path to ownership would go a long way in nurturing loyalty from the outset. Moreover, a more inclusive dealer network, one that prioritizes genuine interest over purchase history, could restore confidence in the system. Such adjustments would not compromise the exclusivity Rolex is known for. Instead, they would ensure that exclusivity is a byproduct of excellence, not obscurity. Rolex is more than a brand, it is a cultural icon. Yet even icons must evolve. The current trajectory suggests that the brand risks alienating both seasoned collectors and emerging enthusiasts if it fails to address the growing discontent surrounding availability, pricing, and the acquisition process. Should Rolex choose to embrace change by offering a more accessible experience without sacrificing its core identity, it can preserve its legacy while cultivating a new generation of admirers. The path forward does not require compromise. It requires clarity, responsiveness, and a renewed respect for those who seek to be part of its storied tradition. What are your impressions on the Rolex topic we shared in this video? Let us know by leaving a comment and giving this video a thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe to the Luxury World for more insights into the world of luxury timepieces.